You mean to tell me that there's a contingency of West Ham supporters who just sat through what we've all just sat through and would sit through it again under the same managerial appointment? IDHVNY, live and direct, Hammer Valley, New York. What is this? What is this? Nuno is gonna stay. There's literally supposedly like a backroom boardroom kind of standoff where you have supposedly pump fake information coming out about who wants who here and who doesn't. That makes no sense whatsoever when you break down the supposed people who want Nuno to stay versus the ones who don't. Um, yeah, just to it's no secret. Traore, Wilson, Disasi, they're guaranteed not going to be here next year, and everybody's taking a 50% wage cut, losing 150 million. Yeah, no, you mean to tell me Nuno is going to be the one to get us to the promised land after all that? He didn't the first time around. Okay, people are like he didn't have the players that he needed soon enough. Did it? All these excuses. Did it? Only if Potter had the players he needed. If only this guy, Lop was playing Kudus left out on the moon to the point that he had performance atrophy going into Potter. Oh yeah, Potter had that little string of luck with Aston Villa when we were pressing in packs a little bit, showing a little bit of promise. Fulham looking a little bit here and there. Scraped a win on Arsenal. Ended up going through a summer camp of eating pancakes and competing over it instead of working on form and working on playing a more progressive attack based football, which is what you had at your disposal, and then end up going into the next round of things. And then we end up getting Nuno, another Rolodex overly defensive manager, former goalkeeper, dude that got taken off the pitch by the Greek Suge Knight, brought to us and told he's going to bring us on home. He threw his toys on the floor to get his Mendez agents across the line, made it a nice little lucrative thing with him and Sullivan now. You mean to tell me that Sullivan wants him out after all that and that Kretinsky doesn't? No. That's people got their got their yeah, they got their facts mixed up, and the fact that more than half the fan base would go through this and having him in the championship, like how are we even thinking about going into the catacombs of second division or the next division of football that's going to be ready to eat us alive with the likes of Nuno and and they're saying the under 21s are going back to the you know going back to their training grounds. They're told stand by, no, or stay by, whatever, stand off, whatever. I don't know what to make of this, man. This is it's until I don't believe anything that comes from sources close to the club because that's essentially Sullivan. Um, and Kretinsky is a contrarian investor when he steps into things. He's the Czech sphinx, so to speak. So it wouldn't be surprising with this supposed panorama documentary that's been 7 to 8 weeks in the making that's supposedly coming out on the 29th that that thing hits. We go into the dungeons looking like the awful club that has an owner who has skeletons in his closet that would make any man's you know yeah it's all messed up here, man. Like it's people were like, we've been sleepwalking into this for 10 years. No, we've been catapulting into it. What, are you kidding me? It's been this thing has been, yeah, it's just we just happened to pick up a cup along the way. um yeah, this ownership needs to go, and Kretinsky needs to push him out the frame, and we need to get Nuno out as well. Everybody's like, no, he could stay. I would take him again. What in the his inability to get a win in the first 4 games, his 27% win ratio, his 1.10 one like literally a point 1.10 points average per game. Five in the back, derelict midfield football where he's dropping so deep. We keep playing the same continuation of these old warhorse. I mean, I can't even say it like that. These old time players who might need to be who are far better off the bench, impact wise. I mean, there's so many different things that he just you could break down and argue that Nuno didn't do right. But one thing's for sure, Nuno didn't do it right. So that is the be all end all. That should be the only qualification as to why he leaves, why he has to go. The Mendes agent, the pair up with Paco Jimenez. Apparently that balance was tilted in favor of a more, oh yeah, we're gonna play it your way this half, but we're gonna purposely throw a wrench in the works so that when you play the half of football that you guys are actually asking for, it'll it'll suck. But then when I go to play mine and it miraculously comes through with a 1-1 equalizer against Man City, I could be the hero. No, Nuno, you didn't play Areola versus Man City, otherwise we would have won. You didn't play Areola versus Man United, otherwise we would have won. You didn't play Areola against anybody, otherwise we would have won. We would have been in an FA Cup run if he had played Areola. No offense to Hermanson. He didn't. It's not his fault that he got thrown into things. And as a matter of fact, when he threw himself in the Arsenal box over that questionable VAR situation, that's practically like a Leonardo da Vinci painting at this point. That I'm sure Canning Townland would, if you're out there, he's probably, if he ever makes it, make it like a very Da Vinci kind of thing. It could be neat. But or even though it was a sad moment, but nevertheless, the fact that he came out the box like Islop did versus Spurs to exact a mistake that he and Ferdinand were contributing towards. I mean, under Pardue football, which was the football that pulled us out at Ipswich, that pulled us into the back into the ranks of things. We need that. We need that. We need somebody who's coming back with a punch. We need to. This needs to happen. We can no longer afford to sit back and let everybody thinks I'm wild when I say, Ange ball, Ange ball. You know what? I'll take kamikaze football all day. I will take football skate or die 145% over that dross nonsense that we just had to sit through, which depended on individual performances that shined more so than the method, evidently, and was far beyond any tactical kind of thing. And he knows the fact that this is even up for debate, the fact that it's like we're headed towards a trajectory that if that documentary comes out and we go to play in the dungeons, it's going to be with Nuno at the helm. I mean, that's as poor as it gets. Everybody, when I was yelling BS out at the MetLife Arena and everything like that, and people were looking at me like I had a head growing out of or arm growing out of my head, I didn't care. I was doing it for the cause, and we ended up getting people who weren't even supporters of West Ham who were signing to get these guys out. Why are there more? Why are there not more people of that 60 percentile who are wanting Nuno to stay, signing, wanting these guys out at the very least? Should have, with the demonstrations and everything like that. Shout out to all them Hammers United, everybody who stepped in and did that, pulled the red cards, did what you had to do. Honestly, at the end of this, it needed a bit more the disgruntlement needed a bit more to it. And right now we're sitting back arguing as to whether or not the guy that catapulted us into this, who would not listen to reason even when it was staring him in the face, him arguing, I'm going to bring on Kilman against Paco Jimenez, who's like, what are you doing? No, I must bring on Kilman. It's because he wanted this, dude. It's because he wanted it. Because he's all about method over individual performances and our boys shining, which is not what it's about. IDHBNY, Come on, you Irons. Let's don't listen to any of the don't believe the hype. Don't listen to none of it. Don't listen to none of the static. It's TV snow. None of it's true. Not until there's a formal release that has something that says, yeah, Nuno has parted ways with West Ham. I can't believe this, man. People would actually keep Nuno. I'm out of here, man.